Hello and welcome back to the Finding Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get close to your true authentic self by helping you find your feet in life.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. We have a fun episode for you today. So we have prepared, because I know we just got a bougie new studio, but we haven't got our own producer yet. We're not at that level. So we're being our own producer here, and we've basically prepared a list of 5 questions or six questions, and they're quite like deep telling questions that you could probably ask anyone and you'd learn a lot about them. So you could probably like go and ask your friends these, or maybe your partner, you know, might start some arguments, but you know, joking. You could probably, they're just like the questions that you could ask anyone and really learn stuff about them. But it's not like, oh, what's your favourite colour? Like, you know, they're quite telling. And basically, we decided what the questions were together, but then Abby's not seeing my answers. I have no idea what her answers are. So we don't know how this episode is going to go.
Yeah.
Based on these answers, you know, because I'm going to be surprised by yours. You're going to be surprised by mine. So it'll be quite interesting, but it'll be good for you guys just to chill, listen to, you know, a nice episode to stick on whilst you're walking, working, and you can learn some more about us. It's always so interesting when you like ask these random questions to people. I feel like you could ask them to anyone and it would be so it's so interesting to learn about people's lives.
Yeah, you would never get the same answer from anyone, so that's why I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like this episode is going to be like quite personal, maybe a bit vulnerable, get to know us, chatty vibes. I'm really excited.
And you learn some things about us, and
you might learn some things you've always thought or wondered about us. You'll learn things today.
Yeah. So
let's expose ourselves.
We're going to expose ourselves, but no, we're not really. But before we jump in, we're just going to have a quick word from the people that make this podcast possible. Our amazing sponsor, BetterHelp. Now, BetterHelp are a professional, secure online counselling service who are available for clients all over the world. So wherever you are listening to this show right now, you can get therapy online with BetterHelp. All you need to do is sign up for an account with them, and you will be set up with a therapist in just 48 hours of you signing up, and you can already get an appointment and be seen. So there's not a big waiting time if you know, because usually by the time you are going to therapy, you're like, get me the hell in that room right now without a therapist.
Yes, there are so many benefits to BetterHelp. You can go whatever pace you like, whether you want to set up weekly phone calls, video calls, or even just text messages to your therapist. And whatever you feel like you need the support for, they can find the right therapist for you, because they are a global company. They have a huge range of expertise. So whatever you feel like you need help for, they will find the right therapist for you. And then if you're actually matched with someone and you think, I'm actually not vibing with them, I'm not getting what I need, you can actually change for free until you're happy.
And on top of all that amazing benefits of BetterHelp, they're also extremely affordable, and they are very kindly giving the Finding Your Feet podcast listeners a 10% discount off their first month of therapy. So all you need to do to access this discount is go to the link betterhelp.com/finding your feet. That's betterhelp.com/finding your feet. We've left the link in the show notes of the episode. Just click through there and the discount will automatically be applied to your account and you can start your therapy journey. But me and Abby are both done therapy. I'm in therapy right now. We love therapy and it's super helpful as you're navigating your way through life and finding your feet. So if you are ready to take the next step and take your mental health to a new level and get the support you need from a professional licensed counsellor, head to betterhelp.com/finding your feet.
Yeah, and if you have any questions at all, if you're a little bit scared to start therapy, it's totally natural. You can come and chat to us on Instagram at Finding Your Feet Podcast.
That's all for now. Let's get into the juicy episode. Okay, so the first question of our 6 telling questions.
This is like dramatic, isn't it? I feel like I am on a TV show or something like.
Yeah, what is a TV show where they do this?
I don't know, I just feel like I'm like being...
Yeah, grilled.
Interrogated,
yeah. So, Abby, what is the biggest lesson you have learned in your life so far, in your 25 years of living?
So...
Wait, you're not 25, are you? Are you 24?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, in your 24 years of living.
I wouldn't have even noticed that. I sometimes think I'm 25 because you always say it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've learned many lessons over my life. And I was like pondering on this one. I was like, what would be the biggest lesson?
Yeah, because we are actually still very young. So
Yeah.
big lessons pending, lots more to come.
Exactly. And this is quite a vague one, but I just feel like it is very relatable. So my biggest lesson would be that no matter what happens in life, no matter what you go through, you are all you've got.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to have your own back. And in the past, I didn't have my own back. Like, I would really like kind of seek validation or like downplay myself. Yeah, betray myself or self-sabotage. And I think only when I actually started my self-love journey did I realize how much I had to have my own back. So when I was like pondering on that question, I was thinking over times that like, I think I'm actually quite good at having my own back, but it doesn't always serve me. That's why I think this answer is actually quite interesting, because it doesn't always serve you completely having your own back. Because I've been through situations where I've like fully like backed myself, and you know, like there's this like really cringe quote, but I actually just relate to it so much, where it's like, when you're crying on the bathroom floor at 3 a.m, no one's going to pick you up but yourself.
Oh, right.
And
I've seen that quote.
Yeah, I always think of that. Like, I feel like I've picked myself up so many times, and I've really learned the power of having your own back. And at the end of the day, no matter what, friendships, relationships, even family members, anything, like, you have to have your own back, and you have to be able to pick yourself back up. I feel like that's what I've really learned. But yeah, as I was saying, it doesn't always serve you, because I feel like if you're too much like that, which I have been in the past, you're a bit reluctant to ask for help.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always serve me. But
too
yeah,
independent.
Yeah, I would say that is probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned, that no matter what, you can fall in love with people, beautiful friendships, everything. But you've got to remember that at the end of the day, anything can be taken away. And as long as you've got your own back and you learn how to pick yourself back up, then that's the most important thing.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. No, that's a really solid lesson there.
I'm glad you like.
Because I think that's like one of the big things that you definitely have to realize when you're like finding your feet in life, is that you are the one that's got to pick yourself off the bathroom floor, but also just knowing that just knowing that gives you more internal strength. So you still allow yourself to ask for help and be vulnerable with other people.
What happens, you've got yourself.
And then that means that when you are like super alone and whatever in a situation or something, who knows, maybe you've like gone and moved to another country and you actually are by yourself, whatever, if you really know that deep down within you, then that'll give you a lot of like internal strength and emotional resilience, which is really, really, really important.
Yeah, for sure. So what is yours?
What is my biggest lesson I've learned in my 25 years of living? It is to always trust your gut.
Nice.
And your intuition. It's kind of cliche, but loads of people don't do it. And I have done it a lot and also not done it other times. And when I haven't done it, I've been like burnt. Like I've not trusted my gut and then walked into like bad situations, knowing, trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, or the situation the benefit of the doubt, or think, oh no, when actually the whole time you knew. You already knew the bloody answer. So that, but also when it comes to like career moves and stuff like that, even when things were illogical and scary, I have always followed my gut regardless. And it's always paid off so much. So that, follow your gut, follow your intuition.
Very, very, very important.
Yeah.
I think naturally as a human, I think sometimes we stray from it. But I think the more you actually even notice yourself straying from it and then coming back to it and following it, the more you do it, the more you come like tuned to it. Do you know what I mean? And then you just become intuitive. Yeah.
You've always got the answers. You always have the answers within. Like you just need to listen and trust it. And the more that you trust it, like on a micro scale in like smaller situations, the more you have the confidence to trust it in bigger things. Like, oh, I'm going to quit my job in the middle of a pandemic and do this podcast and blah 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 blah. That's so like illogical, and like it was in the time when like the world was falling apart and everyone was saying we're gonna have a horrible recession, all this stuff, and when everyone was losing their jobs, things like that seems like a crazy thing to do, but that's one time when I've done it and it's paid off so much in like success, and also how happy I feel. Like your gut knows what's going to make you happy. So
yeah, I think we're a lot more intuitive than we actually think as well. And the more you tune into it, as I said, the more it will like pay off.
yeah, so you've got to trust your intuition. It's really important. And the other, I couldn't choose between the lessons. There was one more, but it's quite simple, and that is just the importance of self-love, which I guess kind of relates to what you were saying, but just how important it is to just truly love yourself, because even though it might be hard to do and you might think, oh my God, how do I love myself? Like, you know, it is the most important thing you do, because how you love yourself is how other people love you. And like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it sets the tone for your relationships, your friendships. It's the deciding factor on whether you're going to allow yourself to live your dream career or not. It's the deciding factor on whether you're going to like be in relationships that are healthy and serve you rather than like potentially toxic one. You know, it's the foundation that decides whether, like, how your day's going to go, whether you're going to have a healthy, happy day, or if you're going to self-sabotage and like negative self-talk and all of that stuff. And life is so much better. You are so much happier and at peace when you love yourself. And when you're like growing up, especially as a woman, it's hard to love yourself because all the things that you see and all the things in the media and the things that people tell you. But the most radical thing you can do in this world is love yourself. So yeah, that's the biggest lesson.
Beautiful.
So far in our lives, but I'm sure we'll have loads more
to come.
More mistakes to come. I'm joking. No, I'm not joking. It will happen. It's inevitable.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, second question. Juicy one, this.
It is.
Abby, what are your 3 non-negotiables in a relationship?
Ooh. So my 3 non-negotiables in a relationship, and obviously these are like give or take something, but if I had to pick 3. So the first one, and there's actually a bit of a funny story behind this one. So the first one is that you have to be willing to work and learn and be open to knowing you can become a better person. So I actually once dated a guy, and he just said this one sentence to me, and I knew from there, I thought, we are never going to work. He was like, oh, it's cool how you're into all this self-development, I think he was looking at my books or something. I was like, yeah. And then he was like, I just don't really get it. Like, I just think I'm such a good person, which is fine, thinking you're a good person. But I just there's just nothing about me I'd love to improve. I just think I'm class the way I am. And I thought, oh my God. I thought, if you can literally not even think of one way that you would want to improve your life. Like, I believe we are literally like students of life. Like, we're always going to grow, we're always going to learn. Yeah, and he said this comment to me, and I thought, oh my God, we are the absolute opposite. So yeah, anyway, that was the end of that situation. But yeah, that's a big thing for me to know, like, not even, you don't have to be working on yourself right now if you don't want to, but to be open to the fact that in the future you might need to do work, or just be open to new ideas. Like, always got your eyes
Growth
open.
mindset rather than fixed mindset.
Yeah, your eyes open to learn and to reflect and stuff like that. Okay, I've actually got 4 here.
Just go for it. Let's have 4.
Okay, so the second one, this is one that I put in at the end because I actually thought about it. So what is a non-negotiable for me is that you have to be faithful and loyal. So like cheating and stuff like that, that's the end of a relationship for me. And obviously I know we've spoken about this quite a lot, that like with cheating, there's ways to get over it, there's ways to forgive, and that's absolutely fine if you choose that route. But for me, I wouldn't choose that route, and I've been in that situation, and I didn't want to choose that path. So it's an absolute non-negotiable for me. If you cheat on someone, it's saying a lot about you as a person. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, it means you need to go and do some work.
Yeah, because it's very self-sabotaging.
Exactly. And it's sad how much people like take it personally, think, oh my God, it's about me, I was cheating on, like, it's sad, but it just says so much about the other person. So that's why it's non-negotiable for me, because it's like, I don't want to be with someone that needs to stop self-sabotaging. So I put be passionate and driven, and just know that you want a bit more out of life. I want to be with someone that, not so much like it's fine to, it's not like, oh, I want to take over the world or something, but say if you're unhappy with your life and you have no passion to change it, then that to me is just it's not inspiring, because I'm like,
that's again the fixed mindset, right? Like, that's someone with you want someone with a growth mindset. Yeah,
exactly. Like, don't moan about your life and then have no push to change it, because that is just like an absolute dead weight, and dead weights just bring us down. And then the last one is a bit deep, but it's just something feel like I sometimes notice in people, and maybe it's because I've noticed it in myself in the past, is like if I can really tell that you're almost running away from yourself, I know, like running away from your reality, running away from your pain. It's a very natural thing to do, but obviously with what we're interested in and what I'm actually going to be embarking on the next year is the complete opposite of that. It's like healing and looking at all your stuff, leading you to a beautiful life. So I don't think I could be with someone if I could tell that they were constantly running from themselves, because I just think that causes mental health issues, and that's
like numbing out their life.
Yeah, like probably like substance abuse, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
like
no one wants that, but yes.
Yeah, but
no, yeah,
you know what I mean, just like
yeah.
So yeah, they're my non-negotiables.
Amazing non-negotiables. What a man does.
I know. Do you think they sounded like quite intense? Like, do you think if someone was
No.
listening, they'd think, "Oh my god, that's a lot to ask"?
Absolutely not. We've got to ask for the moon. and
Yeah,
land on the
exactly.
moon.
But I mean, like, I feel like they are quite subtle as well, and like, it's
No,
like being open to it. All those
Yeah.
things. It's like you got to be open to.
Yeah. It's just like someone with a growth mindset that's self-aware, that is open to the fact that they might not be a completely perfect person and be okay to do some work on that and not be a substance abuser.
Exactly.
Run from
Because you've got to
themselves,
meet people
numb
on your
out.
level as well. And I think obviously like we do work on ourselves, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners do. And at the end of the day, you don't want to do all this work on yourself to meet someone that's not done any work on themselves. And that's not in like an ego kind of way. It sounds a bit ego-y, but it's like you deserve to be met on the same level. So I wouldn't want to be with someone that wasn't even open to the possibility of learning and growing to be a better person.
Yeah, and if that's really important thing for you, like that's clearly one of your values, is that you value personal growth and stuff like that. So, you know, your values with your partner has to align, otherwise, like your life partner, otherwise it's not going to work. And you are going to spend the rest of your life with that person that you're having these that you're listing as your non-negotiables. So you are going to spend absolutely shitloads of time with them. So like they're going to rub off on you so much. So if they're not healthy and like on your level or whatever, they're going to bring you down.
And as well,
And if you already work hard to bring yourself up, then that's not fun.
Yeah. And that's why you have to be like, I think, a bit vigilant at the start of relationships, and like kind of know, like if you've never thought about this and you're listening now and you're like, oh my God, I've not even thought about this, have a think about it, especially if you're kind of like on the lookout for a partner, because like having that idea at the start, because I think if you kind of think this further down the line, it's crazy how much like someone can actually like become a part of you in a way. Like say if I didn't think about my non-negotiables, met someone and thought, oh, it's fine, and then like they can bring you down to their level very easily, and you can just forget about it. So I think thinking about non-negotiables before a relationship is actually really important.
Yeah.
Keep standards high.
Yeah,
always.
because you literally become who you're around. So and especially someone like who you're in a relationship with, because typically you spend a lot more time with them than your friends, so it's even more important that they are, you know,
not a dig.
Yeah, and on your, they are negotiating your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine are, number one is that it's very similar to you, that they have a growth mindset and they have to be into personal growth on some way. Like I don't care how or what, I don't care what you believe, you don't have to believe the same things as me. You might think manifesting's a load of bullshit, and I think it's amazing, and that's fine. But you know, if they believe that in some that's really sciencey thing or something, I don't know, like what, I just don't care what you believe, as long as you are showing some level of self-awareness and growth mindset and optimism for life as well.
So important.
I like, because I'm a very optimistic person, and I just couldn't be with someone that wasn't. I know they say like opposites attract and like the laws of polarity and all of that, like, but I really just couldn't.
No.
And you know, people say people balance each other out, whatever. My optimism does not need to be brought back down it's not unrealistic optimism.
No.
But I think you wake up every day and you have a choice about how you see life. Do you want to see the beauty? Do you want to see the opportunity? Do you want to see the opportunity for growth and happiness and love and the amazing things, the tiny things, and appreciate all of those and make the most out of every day. I'm not saying like, oh, go skydiving every day and do mental things, but it's like, you know, do you go on a walk and do you look at the trees and think, beautiful life? You know, like little things like that, as well as thinking, wow, like for example, when like we had a little meeting yesterday about something that we're going to launch soon. I was working out the finance stuff from it, and then I was thinking, you look at how much it might like cost you initially. I don't want to like reveal what it is to talk around this, but basically like you can, and you assess like the risk level and all this stuff, and then I just thought to myself, wow, I'm really lucky. I am a woman in a stable country with a strong economy where I am in a position where I have complete freedom to expand my business and launch new things in it, completely whatever I want to do. Like there's nothing like getting in the way. There's no one getting in the way. Because I think it's because, like, you know, what's been going on in, like, Afghanistan and stuff like that. It really makes you think, like, about how lucky we are to be in, like, a safe country where you have, like, freedom to do things like that. Things that you might think, you might look at and try and your brain might automatically go to see the stress in the situation.
Yeah.
And you remind yourself, actually, you're really lucky and like privileged that this is even an opportunity and an option for you.
Yeah. And if you weren't on that level, you would just see the negative probably. Yeah. Like the stress of it.
Yeah. So like just optimism, even from that sense, like I just can't, like, I just think optimism is one of the most important things for your mental health. And it's not about being unrealistic. It's just about choosing to take your mind from looking at the clouds to looking at the sunshine, and you have that choice every single day. And I always choose to look at the sunshine. Sometimes my head is stuck in the clouds, but you know, and that's kind of life, that you just pull yourself back. But generally that's where I like to live, facing the sunshine. So I would need a partner that's like that too, because like, I could not be brought down. I couldn't be in the clouds every day. I'd be really sad.
No, 100%. You have to have someone on your level.
Yeah. So optimism, growth mindset, got to be into some sort of personal growth, like just self-awareness. Because I think when you go into relationships as well, you come up to, like, conflict is inevitable. Conflict is not a bad thing. It's about your ability to resolve it and to communicate effectively together to resolve it, whether the relationship survives that or not. Like, every relationship is going to have conflict, and that's healthy and that's fine, but it's about how you move out of it. And I think if you are trying to resolve conflict that's inevitable, that will happen in a relationship with somebody who does not, like that guy that you said who was like, I'm just such a sick guy, there's nothing else that I need to fix. I mean, great that your self-esteem is high, that's good, but when you go into like a conflict or whatever, if you have that mindset that you're so great, then none of it's going to be your fault. It's going to be all the other person's fault, and you're never going to be able to work through it. So a ability to look at yourself in the mirror, put your ego aside, and just be honest and like just be happy to look at where your downfalls are and know that you are not perfect, and be totally okay with that, because no one's perfect. But when you have that growth mindset, you know you're not perfect, but you know that if you come up against things where you see, I didn't do right there. That's a flaw in my being that's actually not good, and I need to fix it. You fix it, and then that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't no one's perfect, but it's about that mindset to move out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like dropping your ego and just knowing you can work on yourself.
Yeah. So and I think that's essential to have from both parties in a relationship. So that's my number one non-negotiable. And number two is that they respect themselves. It's quite random, but they need to respect themselves and show some sort of level of commitment to themselves. Like, just show some sort of like self-love. Not being like, I love myself, but as in they like, I'm not, and again, what I was saying about the personal growth thing, I don't care what you believe or how you do it. Same with this, how you respect yourself and show up for yourself and commit to yourself. I don't care what or how you do it, just that you do it. Like, because I think that shows within, like, if somebody respects themselves, like if they respect themselves, like is if you respect yourself, you don't want to go around behaving really badly. You don't want to go around self-sabotaging and pushing your shit onto other people. If you respect yourself, because you're like, whoa, check yourself before you wreck yourself. You'll be like that kind of mindset. And I think as well, like if you respect, like you look after yourself, you respect your body, your health, because without your health, you cannot enjoy life. You can't do anything. We need our health, otherwise we can't work, we can't love our friends, we can't love our family, our partners. You can't do anything without that. So, and I just think if someone doesn't respect themselves in that way, their body, their behavior, their choices, and how they show up for themselves, they chances are will not respect you, because people meet you on the level they've met themselves.
I was thinking that.
And where like we massively respect ourselves, as in that's why we wake up every morning and do the morning routine we do. That's why we read the books we do. That's why we go to take ourselves to therapy and invest in ourselves, things like that. It's because you respect yourself, you want the best for you, and you want to take good care of yourself. So you need that in a partner, because if they're not doing that, they haven't got good habits within themselves, they'll just push it onto you and like mess you up. Do you know what I mean? So it's actually really important. So yeah, like they could be a gym weightlifter, whatever, pumping the biceps in the gym, or it could go running or whatever. Like I don't care how you show up for yourself, but just that you do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because the way, like you said, the way you show up for yourself will like translate into your relationship. And I think if there's no level of respect there, that will soon show in the relationship. It's inevitable.
Yeah, if you respect yourself on a basic level, then you will respect yourself enough that you want your relationship to be good. You want your friendships to be good. So you'll treat that other person with respect. You treat the relationship with respect, and understand that, like, they are things that you have to build. Like relationships are built, like the healthy, amazing relationships are built. You don't just find them and stumble on them. It's too... So Lisa, the relationship coach, says 2 whole people building a relationship. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's number 2. And number 3 is that they're quite fun.
Oh, I love
and
that.
Just because I've got, and maybe some of you guys might have sensed it, but I don't come on the podcast and be a freak every week, but I actually am secretly like bit crazy, and Abby knows that. Not like in a bad way, just I have this part of me as who I am, like my soul, that's like really childlike. I don't want to say childish, because that's like an immature, like childlike, just very playful and silly. I love to work hard, but I love to be a bit silly as well. Not this like necessarily at the same time, but I cannot live life without being a bit silly. I can't. I get so sad when I don't nurture that part of myself. And obviously, like, that's within my responsibility to bring that into relationship and make sure that I, like, as in, you should never hide, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you should bring all of you into a relationship. So I'm not saying, they have to be silly too, otherwise I can't be it. Like, I'd just be me. But like, even when I first moved to London when I was like 20, and I was like, didn't know anyone, like had no mates there, and just started working, and so I didn't like know anyone properly yet. And like obviously all my close friends who would have those silly moments with in friendship, like what me and you have, I didn't have any of them around me because I didn't know anyone yet, so I was still making friends. So that part of me didn't get nurtured for so long, and it really affected me.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that.
What if I can't let out the crazy?
Yeah, I feel like you'd literally go nuts.
Yeah,
like I've always known, well, no, I've not always known that about you, but I see that a lot. Yeah, like you're, like, no matter how, and I've said this before, no matter like how serious, like, because we take our work very seriously, because we're like boss women and we know what we want. But we could literally be about to meet the Queen or something. And Grace would turn around and crack some weird joke that would probably make me piss myself. And I'm like, just at the most random times, like, you've always got that really silly side. And I've also said to you before that definitely, like, I can just see it in your future, that you're just going to be with someone that really nurtures that. And you're just going to be so silly, and you can be so silly around your kids.
Silly.
Yeah. Because it's a very, very like natural part of you. Like you could never be with someone that like you felt like you couldn't be like that with.
No, I couldn't. It would be the death of me.
Your soul would just be like,
my soul would die.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like work hard. I take what we do so seriously, and like obsessed with like quality and like that we're doing the right thing and blah blah blah. It doesn't. That's what I think people think, like when you get older, like being silly means you don't care and you're just like here to mess about all the time, and it's not. It's just this.
It's just childlike, playful.
Yeah, so that's my other non-negotiable, that like they're down for that.
Yeah. I love
some
that.
people aren't. Some people aren't.
Some people aren't. And I think it's more of an energy thing. Like you'll know when you meet people if you feel like you can be like that.
Yeah.
And if you can't, then that's just a sign.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it, relationship non-negotiables.
Beautiful. I loved yours. Very insightful.
Yeah, I liked yours too. Okay, question number 3. What is the number one thing you want to happen most in your life? Like out of your entire life, you've got full control, full manifesting control right now. The one thing you definitely want to happen.
Such a deep question. I would say like as an absolute whole, obviously there's a lot of things I want in life, but as an absolute whole, I would say to have and experience a very deep and nurturing love.
Oh,
and
I love that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And obviously I do really want a family. That's definitely what I see in my future, but I feel like you just never know what's going to happen. You never ever know like what is going to happen in life. Like you don't. There's so many things that could go against that. So even though I love that, what I want mainly is a deep, deep love. And whether that's like for my kids or with a partner or whatever, I want to experience a deep, nurturing love and a love that I can like learn and grow in, like I said at the start. And just just enjoy life with that person and with that love. And then I suppose that translates to self-love as well.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what came to me. I was like, I want a deep love and just be in the moment and enjoy life. Like all these material things that we want are absolutely fab and we can all get them. We can have whatever we want. And I believe that fully. But when I'm on my deathbed and looking back, I'm going to look back and I want to think, I really enjoyed life and I really loved all that I could.
Yeah, I remember when we did together like our 3 or like lifelong manifestations or something like that. And it's basically like your life values, really. And I remember you put like to track the purest love.
That's
and I just remember thinking, wow, that is so adorable and amazing, and I just love it so much. Yeah, because I feel like if you like set that intention, then you will really attract like healthy relationships and stuff, because you're like, you've got that as your deep seed. And I think and for you to say that's the number one thing, is that I want this purest love, like deep nurturing love. That's you saying you're worth it, which is half the fucking problem. Yeah. Like half the battle, not problem. Like for most people, everyone wants that. Everyone truly wants that. That's what humans want, is love and acceptance. And we love connection and being, with people. That's what makes us happy, really. Everything else is just a bonus. But part of the battle of people wanting that but never getting it is that worthiness and believing that they're worth it or not. Everyone listening to this podcast right now, you are so worth deep, pure, nurturing, amazing love. Like everybody is deserving of that. Doesn't matter what you grew up with, what you grew up believing from your childhood, all that stuff.
Yeah, what you believe about yourself.
You are so worthy and deserving of that as a basic level. No one deserves to be in unhealthy relationships. No one. So yeah, that's beautiful.
I feel like as well, the more you do work on your self-love, I feel like I'm at the point where, and it's not to say you have stupidly high standards or that you don't know that relationships work, but I know that if someone couldn't meet me on that level, then I have the self-love within me. Do you know what I mean? That is what self-love is all about, knowing that I want a very deep, nurturing love, and I'm always going to source that out. And if I ever was in a situation where I felt like that's not what I'm getting, then I know that I have self-love within me. Yeah,
and that thing of you can always fall back on yourself kind of thing. Yeah.
So what is yours?
My number one thing that I definitely want to happen in my life is I want to be a mom. I need to stop talking American in this episode. I'm really sorry, everyone. I can't help it. I've got such a bad habit for it. I'm half American, so it's legal for me to do this. But yeah, I really want to be a mom. Not anytime soon, because my life is not set up for that right now. But some people are like really maternal, and I mean, I think everyone on some level is. I mean, some people aren't, and like, it's fine. Like whatever it is that you want, I just really am, and but not to the point where I'm like, tomorrow I'll have a baby tomorrow. Like I don't. Like I want to wait until my life is actually in the right place where I can have the healthy, like family life that I kind of envision and want to create. But I just think how we as women, as powerful, amazing beings with these amazing bodies, I think one of the things that we can do is recreate life and like literally cook a little human inside of you. I think is the most fascinating, incredible thing ever. And I just think it's the most beautiful thing ever, like to literally create a mini part of you, like it's physically part of you. Like I think it's so amazing. So like, yeah, I just really want, that's what I definitely want to make sure happens in my life.
Yeah, I love that.
Some way that that I get to be a mother.
I love it. And it's like, we never know like when stuff like that will happen, but as long as you know that you want that, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love the maternal vibes.
Yeah, it's just like it's some, like whenever like I'm doing like meditations or things about goals, or like when they're like, oh, think about when you manifest or whatever, like it's always things to do with career, blah blah blah, things like that, and then it's always that. It's like a North Star that you just know like so deep down, like that you really, like it's part of your purpose. I think some people's purpose like it is to be
maybe you can have like 8 kids.
Oh my god, 8. Wow.
You never know.
Not sure my body can handle that. No, I don't think I'd want 8. But yeah, I just think it's the most beautiful thing in the world, and I'd love to experience it.
Beautiful. Well, we're affirming that to the universe.
We're affirming to the universe everything right now.
So much. I was just thinking that, like, literally, I feel like maybe a year ago, I could have never like said these things, even out loud.
It's when you do the personal like development work that you get to know yourself so well that you know what is important to you, and then you also do the work to know that you're worth it. Then you can comfortably sit there and set goals and claim what you want in life.
Yeah. So if you don't claim it, nobody else will.
Yeah. You've got to claim, you've got to order from the menu of life what you want, because you can have it all, but you've got to choose. Okay, exactly. Question number 4. What is the one most insignificant day of your life?
Okay, so I feel like I struggled with this question because I felt like a few different days were coming up. So I wouldn't say this is probably like the most significant day, but I feel like it was just a random day where I learned a lot. So I kind of need to do a little bit of a backstory for this to make sense. So you guys probably know that I study fashion design, and I probably spoke before about this.
At university.
At university for 3 years. And throughout the last year, you create your own collection that you design and make. And probably people listening have probably done this before, and they know how intense it is, how much work goes into it. Oh my God, the hours, we would literally be doing like 12-hour days, like every day towards the end. It was very, very intense. And it was quite competitive, but that's very natural for fashion. Obviously, it's a very competitive industry, so they're kind of getting you ready for that. And all through uni, and especially like in my creative thing, and you'll know this as well, I've always been like quite a high achiever, and I've always like loved getting high marks, like, and I always did. So that's the thing, like I always got high marks, always got good feedback. I mean, there was the odd project where I get like some dodgy feedback, but I always felt like I did really well, and I always like loved getting the praise and everything like that.
Teacher's pet.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, yeah, I mean,
no, you weren't. But no,
I think someone did call me that one.
Oh, no, you were just a high achiever.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say I was teacher's pet, actually. Some of the teachers I really didn't get on with. But yeah, I was a high achiever, and I just loved a bit of that. And then, yeah, so it comes towards the end of this year, and there's basically a competition to get into a fashion show. And there's just so much pressure put on this fashion show. It really didn't mean anything.
Graduate Fashion Week.
Yeah, Graduate Fashion Week. You guys have probably heard of it. Like, it can go into so many things like media and stuff. And basically, it was a competition to get into it. And I didn't get in, and quite a few people didn't anyway. So that didn't really bother me. I was just like, whatever. I know I've done my collection. I really enjoyed it. It's completely different to getting your mark. It's just like this fashion runway thing at the end. But then there was this day where we went to the Graduate Fashion Week, and like, I don't even like explaining this story. I just feel like it's just still a bit vulnerable and weird for me. It's just weird. But basically they like printed out loads of massive pictures of loads of the collections. And I remember my friends got there first, and they were like all taking pictures of like their own stuff out, and like they had clothes out, they had the catwalk, and they had the pictures. And I was like, and everyone was taking pictures of their own pictures on the wall. And I was like, I can't see my pictures anywhere. And I'm not joking, they printed out. And this sounds really harsh, but honestly, they printed out some really, really dodgy collections. Like, they were like, and I'm not saying that from like a mean point of view, like people that didn't really put any work in and stuff. And like, I literally like put my blood, sweat and tears into this collection. And anyway, they didn't print out my pictures. And to anyone else, like, I feel like it would just be like, oh, whatever. But for some reason, this hit me really hard. And I feel like it was like the first time I'd ever felt like a proper failure. And I know that sounds really deep, because obviously that wasn't even to do anything with my mark. But I just took it so personally. I was like, I've literally put so much effort into this collection for about like 8 months, like living, breathing and sleeping it. Like, I wasn't even working at the time. Like, you literally just do everything for this collection. And I was like, and I've not even got a picture printed. Like, I was so like almost offended. I remember I just went home and I was like trying to act normal about it, but I like went home and I just cried. And I literally just cried for like 2 hours. I was like, I feel like such a failure. Yeah, I know. And I think because I had always been a high achiever and always got high marks, it was the first time someone had like kind of been like, no. Like, someone said no to me, you know what I mean? Yeah. Which is like something you just got to learn in life.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I feel like from that experience, like I cried for like 2 hours, and then I thought, you got to pick yourself back up here, because I could feel my negative self-talk getting very, very loud. Like, I could feel like, oh, were you a failure? Why didn't they print your pictures? Like, do they think my whole collection is shit? And they didn't think my collection is shit. I literally got absolute top marks, like a lot of people did. I got a first. Like, they loved the collection, like really, really good feedback. Obviously, they just didn't print the pictures, but I could feel my negative self-talk getting very, very loud. And I had to like step in for myself and be like, stop it. Like, you need to pick yourself back up. And that goes back again to picking yourself back up. Because I didn't tell anyone about this at the time. Like, even my friends, like, I pretended like I wasn't bothered. And I suppose that's a bit of an ego thing. I was just like, oh yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, it mattered so much to me at the time. And then from there, I was like, you can't let this get the best of you. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you're just beating yourself back up. So I picked myself up and I went out and I got myself a job, like one of the first ones to get a job. And then, yeah, I pushed myself. I moved to London and I started working. But I really had to step in, like I said. And it also just opened my eyes up to the possibility of like, I always know I'm talented, but it's like you've got to kind of remind yourself and know that you can do different things. Because I really do feel like, and this is why this is an significant day, that if I got into Graduate Fashion Week and like got on the catwalk, got the pictures, got everything, I really feel like I'd be like in London with my own fashion brand right now. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I would have enjoyed that. But I really feel like this is in alignment for me right now, like as in podcast self-development. And when I didn't get in that, I kind of opened my eyes to the possibility. I was like, well, I love fashion. But I remember the next day thinking, should I start a blog or something? I was like, there's just so much of this like self-development stuff in me. I was like, what can I start? And
outlet.
Yeah, like it just opened my eyes. I thought, there's so much talent in me. Don't think that like just because one person said no, like one person thought we're going to print her pictures over her, like it was nothing personal to me. It made me think like, you're so talented, pick yourself back up, don't beat yourself up. What can you do? Like, you're so powerful, go and get a job, open your eyes to different possibilities. And yeah, that's about it. But yeah, it was a vulnerable, weird situation. And probably my friends that listen to this now are like, oh my God, I didn't even realise Abby was so upset over that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow. Well, I think that you can, obviously you're really proud of your work and were happy with it, and you obviously got really high grade, that you didn't put your thing in whatever, that thing. But it's like you can apply that lesson to your life in business now, because not everyone's going to like what we do. We're going to like approach people to come on the podcast or whatever, do things, set up things, pitch things. People are going to say no. And it's about taking the no's and knowing that your stuff's good anyway. It doesn't mean that you need to change. It's not right for that person. It doesn't affect the quality, and keep going anyway. Who cares?
Exactly. Like you gotta like, just take the nose on the chin and just know that, yeah, you're not for absolutely anyone, but it doesn't mean that you're not special. It doesn't dim your light at all.
I think what's like when you're at school and stuff, or uni or whatever, like obviously you got a good grade, but obviously there's so much pressure put on the performance level and like the outcomes and stuff that you can put so much of your worth on things like that. And then obviously Graduate Fashion Week within fashion is like quite a, I don't know if it's as big as it was now. I'm kind of out of the loop. I feel like people don't care about it as much, or am I offending people by saying that?
What, Graduate Fashion Week?
Yeah, I feel like when we were younger, like it was like a really...
I don't know. I feel like they still do. Well, they definitely do on the courses anyway, trying to get into it.
Oh, right.
But the thing is, it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
It's all for show and all to kind of like say you got in it, and I think that's why it gets in your head, because you think, oh, it'd be so good just to say I got in. But
that's what I love about the internet, is because despite all old institutions and like paradigms, things like that, you can create your own platforms online.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's going to say?
And that's more powerful.
The market might say no to you, but you know, you can create your own platforms.
Yeah, the power is in your hands.
Yeah,
for sure. So what is your most insignificant? It's getting quite hard to say the more I say that.
One most significant seemingly insignificant day is this one day. Basically, if you go on our Instagram, right, and look at our reels, I did a little reel that basically sums up this whole story in 60 seconds, but let's see if I can sum it up now. Basically, I failed my AS levels, which is like, when you come out of like high school in the UK, you can either go to college or a sixth form where you carry on doing like academic stuff, and it's like these academic exams you do before you go to university. And basically I didn't follow my heart, and I went where all my friends went and all of that stuff, and didn't actually stay true to what is I'm actually good at, and put myself in an environment to thrive. And I also just didn't really care about what I was doing because I hated it so much. So basically I just failed the first year and didn't get let back in. Then went to try and go to another college. Then the college didn't run the course. Then I attended another college, stayed there for about 3 days. Then I ran out in the middle of the class and said I was going to the toilet, and actually just ran out of the building and never went back. So a lot of drama. But basically this one insignificant day, my mum's boyfriend at the time, like his like boyfriend, like her daughter, someone that he knew, basically told my mum about this fashion course at this college that I didn't even know existed. And that was the day I decided to go. And because of that one choice, you are listening to this podcast right now, because that's where I'm at, Abby.
I love that.
It's a butterfly effect.
It 100% is. And I'll never forget you walking into the class. Or maybe not walking into class, but I remember the first day.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. You were, because I joined a bit late because I spent all the time at other colleges and running away from them. But yeah, I joined and you weren't who I thought you were. As in, not in a horrible way, as in like, because you were hanging out with like the really loud people in the class, like the gobby people.
Raging around.
The little ragers.
I did mess around quite a lot at the start of that. I just wanted to... No, but that class was really, really quiet. And I was like, I'm quite a quiet person, but I was like, I can't stand how quiet this is. So I attached myself to this girl that was really loud, because I was like, I can't stand this. No, she won't. I was like, I can't stand how quiet this class is. I was like, I need to speak. So yeah, it was like one extreme to the other. It was like a quiet class, and then
quite
one
a character, this girl.
Really loud girl.
And Abby appeared to be her bestie, so I thought they went to school together or something. So I thought she must be a little accomplice. She must be a little Radger as well. I better stay away from her. She was like trouble. No, I'm joking. So yeah, that's my insignificant day. Okay, next question. What was the lowest point of your life?
So again, this is not my lowest point, because I feel like it's just quite a vulnerable question. My lowest point, we'll just save that for another time. But this was one of my low points, and I won't go massively into it. But it was 2020, March, start of lockdown, and I basically been like dating someone, and they were triggering me so much. Like, there was things being triggered, like attachment styles, weird maybe abandonments, like just quite a range
Trauma
of things.
Bombs.
Yeah, probably, that I couldn't make sense of, because I didn't have the knowledge. Like, I literally didn't have the knowledge. This was before we even started the podcast. And I knew that there was some kind of pattern happening in my relationships that was not serving me at all. And I was not showing up the person that I wanted to be. And I was attracting the wrong people. And it was getting me really frustrated. And basically, I was like seeing this guy and it was starting to like fizzle. And this fizzling was like intense. Like, I couldn't stand it. It was really weird. It was like, I could just feel so many things going off in me and I couldn't stand it. And then obviously lockdown was announced. So it was actually the day of lockdown. This lockdown was announced, and we were all like, oh, right, 4-week lockdown, what's that? And so that was probably what was like causing a bit of tension as well. But then I just remember thinking, well, it's already fizzling with this guy, and it's just going to fizzle more because now I can't see him. And something's really not right with it, but I feel so attached to this like weird situation. And I remember I just like laid there in bed and just cried. And I just felt really low. Like I felt like my self-love was just really low because I was like, why am I seeking so much from this person? Like something is not right here. Yeah, it was like, it felt like, it sounds really dramatic, it felt like I was drowning. I was like, something's not right, and like I can't get myself to the surface. Something is not right. So I cried, and then again I led there, and that is honestly was a turning point for me. I thought, something's not right here. I thought, you're going to seek out help, it's fine. Before I get into any other relationship, I'm going to go and get help. And that's what I did. I got therapy. I didn't go crazy looking for a therapist or anything like that. I thought something right is going to come for me. And yeah, I picked myself back up as I did again. And I thought, this is not going to fizzle, because I hate it when people do that. Because I said to him, I can feel it fizzling. And he's like, no, you can't. No, you're not going to fizzle me anymore. I just ended it. I was like, stop trying to fizzle me. This isn't right. I hate people like, just own it.
Yeah, I'm not into this. Goodbye.
Yeah, so I ended it. It was there. I got out of bed. Never cry in bed. It's a horrible thing. I don't like it at all. Got out of bed. I went downstairs, made myself a drink.
Why?
And I thought,
where do you like to cry?
I don't know, but crying lying in bed,
It's just bed sob.
It's just
cozy,
depressing for me. It just makes me feel like, ugh. Anyway, yeah, so I got out of bed, I went downstairs, and that was turning point for me.
And you decided, I'm not going to be this woman anymore. I'm going to be the woman I want to be.
Exactly. I was like, I'm not chasing anyone that's not right for me, and I need to show up for myself in a better way. So yeah, I went and I did the work, and yeah, just to reflect on that quite low point, because I felt like almost desperate. Yeah. But then, yeah, obviously, I picked myself back up, and I think it was about maybe a week or two was when you said to me, would you like to start a podcast? And I was like, do you know what? I've just started this own little journey. I'm feeling really good, because it's been about 2 weeks. I was like, I'm feeling really good. I've forgotten about this guy because he was not the right guy. And then I was like, wow, yeah, I want to focus on this. This is good. And then the rest was history.
Wow. I think loads of people will relate to that. So thanks for sharing. I think everyone has been there at some point. Everyone has been like at that point where you feel like, yeah, like you're in the water and you're pulling on a rope that maybe a guy's holding, and you're like trying to pull yourself up, and they're letting the rope go, and you're like, please validate me. Yeah. No.
It's like the inner child comes out. That's what it was like.
Yeah,
my inner child was like, oh my God, I need help.
That is why it's so important to, 1, do self-love work, because that eliminates that. 2, learn about attachment styles and relationship stuff and childhood. I don't want to say trauma, but people always think that sounds like dramatic, but like anything, childhood, anything. What were your patterns from childhood? So that's literally what you bring into a relationship. So as soon as you can become aware, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
So, you just need to educate yourself on all those things, and then you can eliminate yourself of all the horrible feelings that you get from situations like that we all find ourselves in, especially when we're finding our feet in life. When you're like first starting out, like before you've got the experience to know that, it all starts with us. The love starts with us. Like how we let people treat us, it starts with us. So yeah, I felt loads of people relate to that story.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say is your lowest point? It's a very deep question.
Yeah, it's really deep. This is my lowest point, was when I was, I think maybe I was 18. It was when I was at college with you, and basically I had to see your face every day, and it just made me feel so low. Joking. That was the time when like I developed like awful anxiety, and anxiety is not fun, especially when it comes all consuming. and crazy. Yeah, basically there was this one night where it just had got to this point where it got so bad that I was on my own in the house, and like my anxious thoughts were so loud, and you scare yourself so much with what you worry about and think about, especially when you've got your anxiety going insane. Like any tiny thing you're going to convince yourself is a threat. You're on absolute overdrive of threat and like fight or flight. So your mind is just insane, just running around with everything that could possibly scare you. It's screaming at you. And I was just like on my own in the house, and because I was on my own, I was then obviously completely by myself with my own thoughts, and I was at that point where my thoughts were that loud and that worrying, like of how anxious they were, that I couldn't be alone. So I had to like ring up my mum basically, and was like, come and get me, and like go to her house, because I just couldn't be myself. And I think I was actually only on my own in the house for maybe like 2 hours or an hour. Like my dad had just gone to the gym or something like that. Like I wasn't like I was like on my own for weeks. So it was just like an evening for a short amount of time. But my mind was in such an awful state that I couldn't even be by myself. So my mummy had to come and save me. But that was like a very low point for me, because I mean, what is lower than having no control over your mind? It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Horrible. So yeah, that was it. But that's like the thing that I feel like I could cry. This is
you can tell
episode.
it. Yeah, you can tell it's like a very vulnerable time for you. That's why I think it's so nice that you can share, because it inspires a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's it's a huge like why for me, like to just never get back to that place, because it's so horrible. It's awful. And and to just do everything that you can to like take really good care of yourself, proper look after yourself, respect yourself, put yourself first. I obviously, take care of all your mates and that, but like really, really look after you, because your mind, things in life can happen that cause like situational anxiety and stuff. Your mind can very, very, very easily like spiral off, like from life events, and even like depression, things like that. It comes as often as a result of some sort of life event happening, and that's out of your control. You can't control if a bad thing is going to happen to you or not. You can't. So and how that can trigger off like mental illness within people, like it's just not fun. So that was like that one night where I was like, shit, this is bad. This is bad. So that's why now like I'm so passionate about completely understanding what anxiety is, what depression is, and completely understanding the depths of our minds, our subconscious minds, and how to hack your mind and manage your mind and be happy, so you can wake up every day and look at the sun instead of the clouds, and all of that. Because when your brain goes off into its things of what it does, like our natural brain response to like bad situations in life, whatever, which develops anxiety, depression, it's so uncomfortable and painful. So we need to have the knowledge and the tools to be able to move ourselves away from that. So that is why that is like such huge why for me, motivation for me, and everything.
It's beautiful.
You never want to go back there.
Yeah.
I mean, you might, because our brains can take over and go crazy again. But, it's just, yeah.
No, it's beautiful. It's like probably one of the main reasons we're here.
Yeah.
And I think as well, it is so inspiring, because if anyone is listening to this now and you suffer with anxiety, maybe you're suffering today, or you've just been through a bad period, like Grace is living proof. Like I've never experienced anxiety that bad, but like for you to speak about it openly like that, to say how much like you felt like your mind was against you, and then to how you are now, like you have to kind of surround yourself and remind yourself of people that have achieved that, because it's so possible. Even with depression and stuff, like if you're depressed right now, you can get out of it, but you have to keep reminding yourself like it's achievable. Like think of Grace each time. If you're in that situation and you're really anxious, think of Grace.
I mean, I like it was very bad, and I was like, it was around when I was about 18, 17, and then I didn't have it for years, and then unfortunately it returned not even that long ago on quite a similar scale, which was really difficult to manage, especially because it was like years later when I was like already had equipped myself with loads of tools and skills and knowledge, but still even then, like this is the thing, the bounce back out of it was really quick compared to before, because I knew exactly how to bounce yourself back out of it. And I kept reminding myself, you have felt this way before years ago and you got yourself out of it. No one else did. You fucking did it, and you can do it again. But I would look as well at other people that I admire within the self-development world or anything in life who had bounced back from their own like whatever adversity in some way, and that gave me strength. So you have to, if you're listening to this now, like, think about my situation or anyone, like, because you seem to believe, and like if you can see that someone else has moved out, but it's possible, because when you're in it you feel like this is how you're going to feel forever, and there isn't a way back out, but there's always a way. There's therapy, there's all these amazing things, there's our podcast, there's all the tools we give you. Put in the work day in day out, and you will be happy. You will.
Yes.
Even if life, which like the thing, life will go up and down, down. And I might go up, like I might have that, because the reason what brought it back was like it was situational anxiety, because that's what, like, you can have like chronic anxiety where it's like it starts as situational, like a situation triggers it, but then becomes chronic if you never bounce back and manage it to come back out. So obviously that's not, I haven't done that. It's gone now, which is so good. But people it can turn chronic for people if they don't, and you won't be able to move out of it from not becoming chronic if you don't understand it and like how all the brain stuff, how it's working, and like take yourself to therapy and be vulnerable and talk to people and open up and all these things, and like just really commit so hard to yourself that you are gonna take care of yourself, and then that's the only way. It's the only way. But this episode is so deep. Okay, so a little bit more of a lighter question as we just wrap up with this last question, and then a quick fire question. So Abby, what do you love the most in your life right now?
So what I love most about my life right now is waking up every day. This is like such a typical answer from us, but waking up every day and working on myself and like holding my vision for where I want to be, like that just excites me so much. And I feel like I'm in such a good flow at the minute of like really like visualizing, knowing where I want to go, waking up and doing things that make me feel good, like journaling, like reading my book and stuff. Like that is what I'm loving most, like the growth. Like I thrive off it, and I think just showing up for yourself every single day and just being excited about the future.
I love that. I was there really is no better feeling. I was thinking the other day, like, so I said to my friend, I was like, I think I'm addicted to personal development. Is that a bad thing? I think that we're all addicted to different things, and obviously like it's fine if it's like you can be, well, is it addicted, or is it just a habit where it just becomes so ingrained in you that you can't not do it? But then I was thinking, well, why is your brain addicted? It's probably because of the dopamine you get from working on yourself. So I was like, well, that's fine, because that's a very healthy source of dopamine. So that is totally okay to be a personal development junkie. But like, obviously, if you're like addicted to other things, you get that dopamine hit. You can get it from different things. Make sure you just get it from healthy things. But that's just totally random. But I just was thinking about it the other day, and then I realized that's why. It's because of the dopamine you get, because nothing feels better than working on yourself. That, like what you're saying, that's what you love. It's your brain bloody loves it. All the chemicals love it. The number one thing that I love the most in my life right now is waking up every day and having complete full time autonomy over my time, like complete time freedom, obviously within reason, like as in I have to put out an episode every Wednesday, I have to do work every day, blah blah blah, things like that. So I'm not like just walking around every day like, woohoo, what should I do today? But freedom, like when it comes back to knowing what you want in life, like you really need to get clear about what your values are. And one of my values is freedom, and it drives me every day in the choices that I make, the way I'm slowly constructing my life, my career choices, deciding to do things, taking certain risks. It's all in the bid for my version of freedom and what freedom means to me and how I want to live. So right now, obviously, like working for ourselves, like I have full freedom over my time. Like I have to stick my deadlines, do my work, but as in I don't take that for granted. Any day, like just that I have the time to wake up and do a full morning routine. And you know, like what I did today. I went and did a walking meditation that unexpected. It took it half an hour, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a little workout in the park, and I was like, I'll still be able to get back in time and do my work before Abby gets here. Like, but if I had like if I wasn't working for myself, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Like, even like small things like that, I always remind myself, like, wow, like freedom.
Yeah. I love that.
So yeah, that's what I'm loving so much right now in my life. But this is our last little quick fire thing, just to finish it off on a little cute note. So we both don't know what each other's answers are to this, but we're gonna tell each other like basically 5 words to sum each other up.
Yeah.
You go first.
And I think this is nice because you should go and do this with your friends, because I think it's nice, like, sometimes you never know what your friends, like, we probably do, but you never know what your friends think of you sometimes. So, like, little exercises like this are really good to, like, get to know yourself more. So 5 words to describe Grace best. It was hard to choose because there's so many amazing things.
Oh, thank you.
But the first one is a bit funny. So the first one I put ballsy, because you just know what the hell you want out of life and you just go for it. Second one, I put 2 together. I put funny/fun, which we've already covered. You always make me laugh and you're always fun to be around. Put beautiful, because you're beautiful inside and out.
Aww.
And I put loving, because you've got so much love in your heart. And very empowering. You're very empowering to be around. And like, I mean, you're my business partner, so how lucky am I to have an empowering business partner?
An empowering, ballsy, beautiful, loving business partner.
What more could you want?
Well, thank you. That's so kind.
You're welcome.
Okay, here's your words. I'm going to get my notebook up.
It feels funny doing this because I feel like you never really do this with your friends.
No,
really.
never. But everyone should go and do this with their friends. Imagine the amazing conversations that you would have. Not from this 5-word thing, that's cute as well. But from all these questions, you'd really deeply get to know someone and like deepen your relationships. That's what deepens relationships is vulnerability and intimacy, all that. Yeah. Okay, so 5 words to describe Abby. You're really wholesome.
Aww.
You're really like zen and calm.
Oh, nice.
You're really loving.
Oh, we're both loving.
You're really focused.
Oh, nice.
And you're really optimistic.
Oh, I love that.
You're like, I don't know if there's actually a word for this, but you're like so basically you're the complete opposite of skeptical. Okay. Because anytime like I'm like, ooh, are they a bit of a weirdo? You're like, shut up, they're nice. You're like, yeah. So
yeah, like I just believe everyone's nice.
You always just see the good in everyone and everything, and you're really optimistic.
That is lovely. Aww. Such a nice way to end the episode.
So guys, you should go and like text your friends like that question.
Yeah, you should. It fills your soul.
Okay, this was really fun episode to do. I hope you guys enjoyed it and getting to know us more, like a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more.
I hope you learned some things about us and maybe learned some really important life lessons or information or tips, knowledge or anything that you can take away and apply to yours. Or maybe it even made you feel less alone in your own life with some other, your lowest point or whatever, Yeah,
I hope so.
Where you might relate.
So we're just going to wrap it up with our quote of the week, and it is that you can't just hope for happy endings. You have to believe in them, then do the work and take the risks.
Oosh.
That's what we do.
Love that. We mentioned a lot in this episode about self-love and just how important it is to have a foundation of self-love within yourself just for happiness in your life, and everything you've heard throughout all the questions we've answered, how much it relates back to self-love. So we have our self-love workshop on the 19th of September, so you haven't got long to grab your ticket. So there's literally only, if you're listening to this on the day this episode comes out on Wednesday, there's literally only a few days left until the event. So please do come along if you want to start your self-love journey, or you've already started it and you just want to deepen it. It is the topic we are the most passionate about, and we just love to teach it. And yeah, it's going to be so much fun. We love this workshop. So please do come and join us. You can grab your ticket on our website, findingyourfeetpodcast.com. I've left the link in the show notes to the ticket. But do try and come live if you are going to come, because obviously this event is available to watch back on replay if you cannot make it live. But the self-love one is really like interactive, because it's quite emotional and touching, and we do a lot of like one-to-one work with the people that attend the workshop, like we work focused on you and your self-love journey, so there's quite a lot of interaction, and you will miss out on that if you just watch it on the replay, because obviously you won't be there to actually speak with us. So if you are going to come and you were thinking, oh, I'll just watch it on the replay when I'm ready, please do try and come live, because it will really change the whole overall effect that you get out of this workshop.
Yeah, and it's just really nice to all be there together and like have that sense of community. And I'm so excited for the next one, because I really feel like you can hear in this episode how passionate we are about self-love and how it really has transformed our lives. So that's why we've created this workshop, because it means so much to us and people absolutely love it. Yeah. And it's just a beautiful evening. So we would love to have you there.
But thank you so much for listening, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed it. This deep episode, vulnerable episode. And maybe you can go and ask these questions to some people in your life and have some fabulous deep conversations. But we will see you next Wednesday. Love you lots.
Bye.